Could the political chaos we've just witnessed possibly become a learning experience for kids? A question Rita Braver is putting to the leading children's publisher, now marking its 100th anniversary.
With the horror of what happened at the U.S. Capitol this past week still sinking in, there is an important question: how to explain it to America's children.
Kids want to understand it. The Capitol is a symbol. It's very important to them.
And so Dick Robinson, president and CEO of Scholastic, says his editors immediately started posting stories for students on the websites of Scholastic magazines.
In fourth grade, we'll explain it one way. In eighth grade, we'll explain it another way.
In fact, Scholastic, the largest publisher of children's magazines and books in the world, is just marking its 100th anniversary of helping children make sense of things.
Our real personality is being in the lives of kids in school, helping them learn, millions and millions of kids.
He is, incredibly, only the second person to lead the company in its 100-year history. The first was his dad, Robbie Robinson, who, fresh out of Dartmouth, started publishing a current events magazine for students near his home just outside Pittsburgh.
Magazines were becoming, the mass medium of the time. And you saw the enrollment projections for high school post-World War I were just going up like that.
As I understand it, when your father started, he actually worked out of his mother's sewing room.
Yes, so you did.
But within 2 years, the Scholastic was being shipped all across the country.
This one is the very first issue, which shows a female hurdler, which was very forward-looking at that time.
Magazines going directly into classrooms.
1,000 schools at the beginning, and then it got to be 5,000 schools, and then 10,000 schools. But it took a long time to build this.
Teachers were soon asking for a variety of magazines geared to different areas and ages. There are now more than 30, available both in print and online. A kid's eye view of American culture and history. And they have always covered difficult and even controversial topics. This was 1948, still the era of segregation.
During Brotherhood Week, we had an African-American young man with 2 other white young men, which led to the banning of Scholastic in several southern states.
And Robinson says Scholastic has already heard from parents who say the attack on the Capitol should not be discussed in the classroom.
But we don't hold back from that. It's our role to make sure that we do address these important questions.
Scholastic has a proud history. In 1923, at the suggestion of teachers and principals, the company began giving art and writing awards to promising high school students, a list that includes many who would become bold-faced names. And Scholastic has another impressive roster. Harry Potter, The Hunger Games,
Faster than a speeding waistband,
Captain Underpants, all based on books published by Scholastic. The company got into the book business back in the 1940s.
So a book lover's paradise down here, huh?
Yeah, these are all the books we published in the last 3 years. We call them tricolors.
Just 3 years here.
And each color tells me what year it is.
Demoso Weber Bay is Scholastic's senior librarian.
Have you ever figured out how many books have been published under the Scholastic imprimatur?
It's a good question. And the library has about 200,000 records.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scholastic published the now beloved Clifford the Big Red Dog in 1963, after it was rejected by 9 other publishers. And the hugely popular Babysitters Club series started in 1986, written by a Scholastic employee who saw a need for preteen books.
That I read religiously every month when I was getting my Scholastic book form. I knew one book was going to be the new Babysitters Club book. So then what am I going to spend the balance of my money on?
Like many of us, Weber Bay remembers filling out those order forms for the school book clubs that Scholastic first launched in 1948. The company makes money, but kids get to choose their own low-cost books shipped directly to their schools, even during the pandemic.
It makes me so happy that they are excited about books and that there are ways for them to get access to books.
Fourth grade teacher Carrie Ann Reeves of Daniel Webster Elementary School in New Rochelle, New York,
How are you?
is personally delivering book club orders to her students.
We're all smiling under our masks.
We are. You gonna hold your books up for me? There we go.
And Scholastic book fairs are going on, socially distanced, at schools like Browns Chapel Elementary in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The books are discounted, plus schools get a portion of the proceeds.
There you go. Have a good day.
The company says its products are available in 90% of American schools without any serious competition. Basically, no one's crazy enough to do what you do.
I would say that's a very practical response.
Scholastic is a publicly held company.
So, in your average year, what kind of revenues are we talking about?
About 1.5 billion.
That's good.
Dick Robinson and his family are majority shareholders in Scholastic. He worked his way up and has run the company since the 1970s. He's now 83. And as for his successor,
You haven't picked out that person yet?
That's a matter I probably should discuss with myself and then with you later, right?
and Robinson says the company's mission for the next 100 years is the same as it's always been, even in difficult times like last week's assault on the U.S. Capitol.
Over the years, people have turned to us in important moments like this to explain things to kids and give them a pathway to understand it and feel better about themselves and their society because of their understanding.